And my question in terms of mental health and actually neurological disorders, what link does it have between what is the let me phrase my question. How do neurological disorders intersect with mental health? What holistic approaches do you recommend for treatment?
Okay, well, let's do this. I'll answer this because this is like a very direct and a lot of people don't like this answer that I say, but it's the actual truth. And I think sometimes the truth hurts. But I tell people this is that most people let the world control them instead
Mhm.
of them controlling the world.
Mhm.
And I mean that because of just like what you just mentioned, is that if you wake up and the first thing that you do is you grab this phone and you go to this thing, well, now what happened is that you're going to get distracted and this is going to take control of your life.
Mm.
Versus if you go to sleep at night and before you go to bed, you take a little pen and a piece of paper and you write down your objectives of what you want to accomplish in that morning. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I have the most insane morning routine. I wake up at 3:30 every single day. And the very first thing that I'm going to do is basically gratitude because I work with people that, are just wanting to just make it to the next day. So I am very thankful to God the fact that I get an opportunity to wake up. So I spend a lot of time in gratitude. So gratitude is one of the biggest things because people don't realize is that if you woke up, you have a pulse, you still have a purpose.
Mm.
Okay. And I think that people don't realize that, no matter what you have, the fact that you can see, hear, smell, taste, your senses, you can move, you can think, you can breathe, you can think, you can dream, you can listen to music, anything. I mean, you should be thankful for every aspect. Anything that you see, you should be thankful for.
Mm.
So that right there, the next thing is actually, I don't feel when I work with patients with mental health issues that a lot of people really don't have a clear direction as to their purpose in life.
Mm.
Because what happens is most people basically they get a job, they hate their job, then it turns into if they get married, they have marital problems, they become negative, and then what happens is the world controls them because what happens is they wake up and they just roll into the world. There's no self-reflection, there's no self-healing, there's no time to actually work on their own mental health. And
Mm.
what has to happen is if you want to take your mental health in your own hands, you have to take initiative. So that
Mm.
means that you need to wake up, you need to do gratitude, you need to be able to know your purpose. Like, what are you doing today? What's the purpose of this week? What are your goals? Why are you working in the first place? Like what you need to have a vision board.
Mm.
The third thing is actually, I believe this is actually where you go into things like, meditation. People can say, well, I'm like, no, 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 no. Like what happens, I scan people's brains. So I know that when people come into my office, I can tell that they're super stressed out and they don't know how to self-regulate. And if
Mm.
you can't self-regulate, then you're not going to control your thoughts and you're going to become impulsive. You're going to have fixations, addictions, all these things. So being able to learn how to control your thoughts, and really it's actually stillness. And
Mm.
that's why waking up early in the morning it's if you ever go outside, it's the most peaceful, amazing thing to go outside right when the sun starts coming up. It's so quiet and it's so beautiful. Everything's still because people are still sleeping.
Mm. Mm.
So that right there, that's amazing. So what do you do in something like that in meditation? People can go into breathing, like literally like just calming your whole brain down and literally focusing on your breath. You're just breathing in through your nose, trying to hold it out through your mouth. People can even actually work on sending, healing vibes and energy to different parts of the body. If somebody has headaches, like, the brain is very powerful. There's a placebo effect.
Mm.
So you can actually adopt this by basically using your own subconscious mind to work on healing yourself. The next thing is affirmations. I'm a very big fan of personal development that, these guys basically script, they write their future out. They try to use their imagination. I tell people that that's like God's best gift that he gave us was an imagination, just no one uses it. But the people that have used their imaginations are the ones that are building the world. They're the ones that are making all these companies because every single invention all came from a thought. And if you wake up and you go to social media, you get caught into this world and you basically watch other people's world versus the world that you can create. And in saying that, that's again, not a lot of people like hearing that, but this is like, I'm very transparent and real to people, but it's like my goal is to teach people mental health to actually control their mind. And control their mind is to take whatever your daily routine is, which is why you have the problems, and we got to change the whole daily routine. Because if you don't change, you're not going to get a change. So, one small change can lead to big changes. But the more and more that you stay consistent at this, you can actually start seeing that you can start making significant impacts on mental health. And again, I work with people with bipolar, people that are suicide. I mean, I see some, you name it, with the neurological issue that typically come into one of our facilities, but we see a lot. And we were all big into this concept. We're into circadian rhythm, gratitude, vision boards, meditation, clean eating, circadian rhythms, making sure that people get enough of sunlight. Those are all things that I feel like, and they're not easy. And that's the whole thing, that if you really want to get your health back, you have to change what you're doing. And sometimes it's making, a complete life transformation. It's a flip 180. And in my situation, I don't typically have to wake up at 3:30 like I do, but I just have so much to be grateful for that I realized that, when I started off with like the 3 or 5 things, I started receiving more. So then eventually now I basically am big into like gratitude. I mean, I can do gratitude for 30 minutes to an hour just because I have that much to be grateful for.
Mm, 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 mm. I hear you, and something that I actually heard several times in terms of inviting guests and speaking with guests is the fact that gratitude is one of the important things, and it really opens your mind when it comes to, if you are open in terms of telling yourself that you are grateful, grateful for things. You might myself, I pray in terms of when I have my own gratitude. Some people actually say it out loud in terms of talking with themselves because they feel like they might not conform in terms of praying. So it's something that is quite important. Actually, I'm quite seeing the time, and unfortunately, we are out of time. But before I let you go, what are the key messages you hope the listeners take away from our conversation today?
All right. Well, I think that if someone wants to know, for autism, I think that, autism there's a lot going on. So there's the sinus brain connection, sinus gut brain connection. I'm a very big fan from, dietary standpoints, paleo diet, seasonal eating. And the next thing is that, even severe mental health, that, you got to make a change. And so what I just addressed earlier, those are some very big things, but I can tell you that if someone has severe mental health issues, I would challenge them to increase their sunlight exposure and really actually start watching sunrises and sunsets. And if they can start to consistently adding that to their routine, it can be a complete life transformation.